Hello friends and viewers, and welcome to my Teadon character guide. Teadon's trait is Battle-Tested Shield. With this trait, he possesses Block. At the end of his turn, Teadon becomes alert to the horizontal row of 3 tiles in his target direction, dealing physical AoE damage once an enemy enters the area. This can be interrupted. Additionally, when actively using other alert skills, Teadon's attack increases. His initial skill is Defensive Stance. This is a 2 energy cost instant skill that grants Teadon a physical shield equal to 25% of his HP. He will also gain the block enhancement buff, allowing him to block ranged physical attacks. At rank 1, I recommend Intimidate. With Intimidate, at the end of Teadon's turn, he inflicts an attack 2 debuff on the enemy with the highest physical attack within 4 tiles of him for 2 turns. By guaranteeing an attack 2 debuff on an enemy, this helps to reduce group damage taken. However, Intimidate loses some value when utilizing other characters and skills that also inflict an attack 2 debuff or even random attribute debuffs. Knockout Blow's primary function is to stun an enemy for 1 turn, at the cost of 2 energy. Crowd Control has several possible functions: preventing group damage taken, delaying an enemy support unit, or prioritizing a focused target. If you are comfortable with the options you have to inflict attack debuffs in your character roster, you may consider Knockout Blow. At rank 3, I recommend Hit and Run Tactics. Hit and Run Tactics deals minor AoE damage in a 3x3 area, and inflicts Move 1 and Vulnerable 2 debuffs to all enemies hit. For the rest of your team, the Vulnerable 2 debuff on enemies increases damage dealt. At baseline, Fierce Assault deals the same amount of damage as a basic attack. With this skill, Physical Shield and by extension HP become a power increase for Teadon. This skill is more lethal the greater Teadon's physical shield is, and the ideal use case for this is situations where Teadon avoids physical damage taken. In other words, Fierce Assault is best used against magical damage dealers. Against physical damage dealers, Fierce Assault's damage output becomes unreliable and highly variable. At rank 5, your options are Thick Shield or Counterattack. With Thick Shield, Teadon gains a physical shield equal to 35% of his HP at the start of battle. While having a physical shield, Teadon's block chance is increased to 100%. This reaction skill is the only way Teadon can achieve 100% block chance. Once per round, Counterattack allows Teadon to strike back with a basic attack when hit by an active attack. If you are building Teadon to increase his out-of-turn damage, it is completely reasonable to consider adding Counterattack to his skill kit as well. My pick here is Thick Shield. At rank 7, I recommend Array Command with a Castalia for Shield of Sanction. When Teadon ends his turn with Standby, he grants Defense 2 buffs to all allies within a 1-tile radius. This delivers some support utility when Teadon's other skills are on cooldown or when he is lacking energy. Keep in mind that when you stand by, at minimum, you are choosing to trigger Array Command instead of cast a basic attack. At a glance, Shield of Sanction deals the same amount of damage as a basic attack, but recall that within Teadon's trait, his attack increases when casting other alert skills. Shield of Sanction's actual damage output is more than the tooltip reads, while also interrupting and stunning enemies in the alert range. Consider Castalia for this to allow Teadon to become a more capable battlefield controller and zoner. At rank 9, your options are Powerful Attack or Ice Attack. Powerful Attack deals 10% more damage than the initial basic attack. If you selected Counterattack at rank 5, you may consider this. Ice Attack brings some utility by inflicting a Move 1 debuff against healthy targets. If you have Hit and Run Tactics in Teadon's skill loadout, recall that Hit and Run Tactics already inflicts a Move 1 debuff, so you may risk some debuff redundancy. My pick here is Powerful Attack. At rank 11, I recommend Impregnable Shield. Impregnable Shield is Teadon's signature ability, granting himself a physical shield equal to 150% of his physical defense, and all allies within 3 tiles around him a physical shield equal to 100% of his physical defense. Additionally, his trait's alert effect cannot be interrupted for 2 turns. The value of Impregnable Shield's physical shield depends on Teadon's physical defense, and for Teadon himself, the ceiling of his physical shield depends on his HP. As such, you may consider prioritizing HP and physical defense stats to make Impregnable Shield more powerful. Will to Survive is a self-recovery skill if Teadon is dying at the start of his turn, restoring 50% HP and 2 energy. This can allow reprieve against tactical mistakes, but mistakes are easier to backtrack from and be more proactive against. Impregnable Shield offers greater support for Teadon himself and the rest of your team. This is my general build recommendation. Your basic attack and reaction skill should be whatever you learned at rank 9 and rank 5 respectively. Either Impregnable Shield or Shield of Sanction should be used as Teadon's core energy spender. Impregnable Shield to provide external physical shield support, or Shield of Sanction for alert damage and crowd control. Array Command and Intimidate are selected here for end of turn benefits, increasing party mitigation and decreasing damage taken. Depending on the buffs and debuffs available within the rest of your team, substitute either Array Command or Intimidate for hit and run tactics as needed. For your weapon options, Newborn Blade is Teadon's best weapon for damage while still providing an HP increase. Consider this to increase Teadon's alert damage. If you are focused on high physical shield uptime, then Guardian's Will is a good option to increase defense and further decrease damage taken. Although Teadon only sustains himself with a physical shield, Guardian's Will still helps to mitigate against magical damage. Senator Swift Sword offers the highest HP increase and can be used for the movement debuff. For trinket recommendations, Hunter's Intuition is best for increasing Teadon's alert damage in his trait and Shield of Sanction. Teadon's skill kit allows him to sustain high physical shield uptime, and Shield of Justice enhances that even further with attack and defense increases. Shield of Justice also scales with the character's physical defense, which suits Teadon's stat distribution well. With the Thick Shield reaction skill, Teadon has a 100% chance to block, so Mystery Guardian's physical defense increase can regularly trigger. Immunity against defense attribute debuffs will also maintain the strength of his Impregnable Shield. For some tarot recommendations, Destruction of the Tower is a strong option to increase Teadon's alert damage and counterattack reaction skill. Consider avoiding the lifesteal hidden effect in favor of physical attack roll. However, be mindful that Tower offers no benefits to his active attacks, so you can also consider Dream of the Magician to increase damage. Because Array Command requires standby turns, and with Teadon having several skills with long cooldowns, Guidance of the World is a reasonable option for additional energy recovery and cooldown reduction. Recall that Impregnable Shield scales with Teadon's physical defense, and Teadon's physical shield ceiling scales with his HP, so the Fool's Naivety is another reasonable option to increase both Teadon's HP and physical shield cap. Silence of the Hermit is a fine option for a defender with the sole purpose of reducing damage taken. For engraving options, Pinnacle Engravings have a higher ceiling for HP and defense rolls. Having a double Pinnacle Resonance contributes to Teadon's tankiness and Impregnable Shield values. Sword and Wand is the best option to increase Teadon's alert damage while still having a defense gain. To provide some composition and usage tips, Teadon mitigates against physical damage very well, but he is more vulnerable to magical damage. Even if he has Array Command and Intimidate in his skill loadout, be proactive with prioritizing and or debuffing magical enemies to protect him. Teadon is a member of the Union and Fortitude categories. Consider building a team with him using Gloria's or Magnus's leader's auras. For external category buffs, Gloria's Vow of Justice is less useful for Teadon's alert damage, but this will still help mitigate some damage taken from strikebacks. Magnus's Blood and Steel decreases damage taken when healthy and enables Teadon to become immune to the negative effects of injured. We also have Knight's Glory, which can grant Teadon an attack 2 buff and support his physical shield uptime. That concludes this character guide. If you have any feedback to share with me, please leave a comment below. I'm open to listening and being wrong. I'm another player improving and learning more about Sword of Convallaria just like you are. Remember, if you find conflicting information to other guides or content creators, then that means there are multiple ways to build a character and still achieve success. Finally, my social media contacts are displayed here to connect with me as well. Last but not least, I want to credit and shout out these resources for helping me put together this character guide. Voyage Memento for character build samples and reference links, the No Potion fan site for skill images and skill descriptions, and the Billy Game site for character art assets. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.